There was no one in the car with the child. The air conditioning wasn't even running, and it's extremely hot. So the child could have, you know, who knows what could have happened.
Shopper Yuanka Salver says she was on her way into the IGA grocery store to buy a soft drink when she was approached by a woman inquiring whether she had left a baby in a car. It was not her baby, but Salver became involved when she saw an infant sweating in an unattended vehicle with no parents or no guardians in sight.
So I went over and I noticed that it was a baby about 7 to 8 months of age in the back seat. The windows were barely cracked, and the baby was sweating quite a bit. So it was obviously very uncomfortable in the car. I stuck my hand in the car, and I think the temperature was probably around 80-something degrees, which was too warm, which explains the sweating. So I actually ended up sticking my hand through the window and opening the lock on the door so I could open the door ajar, since it had power windows, to give the baby some additional air.
Sever said she stood with the baby along with several other concerned shoppers for more than 45 minutes before one of the baby's parents finally showed up. Sever said the parent's explanation was that the baby had been sleeping when he arrived at the store, and so he thought it safe to let the baby continue sleeping in the car until he returned.
That it had to have been at least an hour. They were in the supermarket shopping while their baby was in the car. The parent was the father. And when he showed up, the police were already here, and I had said to him to teach him a lesson. I was going to take his child and sit in my car so he would see what it would be like to lose his child, because you should never leave a child unaccompanied.
The child was unharmed and the parent was given a warning by police. However, Department of Social Services Representative Kenneth Barnes says things could have turned out a lot worse for both the parents and the baby, including the parent being arrested and charged with varying degrees of neglect following an investigation.
Normally, a situation like this, if there was a call to 911, 911 would actually call the police, social services, sometimes simultaneously. They would call us. Well, if an officer is on the scene and with the police, we sometimes would actually take custody of the child, take the child to the office. We may have to see the parent or the caregiver or the guardian, in which we would now launch an investigation in terms of to understand the reasons in terms of such action. You know, because regard such action as being in some way a careless sort of move on, you know, on the parents' part.
Though Social Services Department was not alerted in this particular case, Barnes says that situations like these could be indications of more serious issues occurring in a home. He invites the public to inform the department if they observe similar occurrences involving children.
There's actually no a stance in where we are thinking of now educating the public much more about, you know, the rights of the child and the community responsibility in terms of safeguarding children, because that is where the thing is now. Because it's not just social development alone responsibility, but it also extends to the wider community, in which persons seeing things happening to children need to contact 911 or contact the social services or contact the police. That one of these agencies can actually launch, you know, their intervention in terms of to actually help the child.
For WIV4 News, I'm Joy Del Trail.